meeting. Okay, so at this very moment, it's an honor and privilege to be able to host our very own mentor, Mr. Mike Van Ventolo from Cape Town, a gentleman who has been coming to Uganda for over 25 years, a gentleman who has mentored us and nurtured us and equipped us. I would really, really proudly say that we are who we are because he joined the business, because he has supported us, because he has mentored us, and because he truly loves us and appreciates us. So it's always a privilege to be able to learn from our judge, our mentor, Mr. Mike Van Venter. I can't even wait. I can't wait to be able to visit Cape Town. I'll be visiting Cape Town in the month of May, from the 20th up to the 27th. It's going to be my very first time to be in Cape Town. I just can't wait to be in Cape Town. And I really look forward to meeting you, Mr. Mike. So thank you so much for giving us this privilege to learn from you this evening. Please, you can take it on from here.
Thank you, Justice. It is a privilege for me to be with you. And, you know, it's a privilege to live in Cape Town. So I look forward to welcoming you and all the others who will be coming for the World Team Convention. I know it's going to be something very, very special. And then also I want to join with you to say a special word of praise and thanks to all the ladies, all the women in our lives, also in our team. I personally value women very, very highly. I grew up in a family where my mother and my grandmothers and my aunts all played such a wonderful role in my life. The men as well. My father, of course, my grandfathers, my uncles, but somehow the women stood out more. And I have so much appreciation for the formative effects the women in my family had in my life, and even teachers and many other people along the way, and then also in the business. You know, our business is such a wonderful vehicle for both men and women, but women tend to make up a very large part of our kind of business. And I think there are people on this call that haven't seen me yet and that I haven't met. And on the one hand, I want to welcome you and thank you for being part of the team. But what I want to say about both the women and the men in my team is that I value and appreciate each and every one of you. Even those that I don't know, there are many that I'll never meet, but you are all part of my life in some way. And I'll never take that for granted. And as I say, I appreciate you and I love you, and whenever I can, if I can contribute something to help strengthen you, to help you along the way, I would always gladly do that. We saw this business way back in 1983. Now, if you make the sums, you'll realize that's almost 42 years ago. In fact, May, it will be 42 years. Some of you weren't even born then. I was in church ministry, which is, I grew up knowing that's where I had to be. I never thought of doing anything else. But then life takes unexpected turns for us. I found myself in a position where at that stage I was a chaplain in the army. So actually the government was paying me. And any salary It's got two limitations. First of all, it's mostly not enough, which was the case for us. And secondly, you've got a ceiling. Even if I tried working harder, which was probably just not going to be possible, that wouldn't translate into more income. So we were really stuck, and I saw no way out until one day a guy that I'd last seen at university, which at that point in time was about 13, 14 years ago, phoned me. He was coming to the town where we lived, just joined New Life himself. Used to live in this little city, Grahamstown, and he was coming there to try and recruit some people that he knew from the time they lived there. Yeah, I never realized that he knew that I was there because we weren't actually in the town. We were on the military base. It was a different church from the one in town where he used to be. And thank God, he knew that we were there and that he came and saw me and showed me the opportunity. Now, I didn't see anything big in it. I never saw a career change. I just saw a way for us to make a little bit of extra money to help us reach the end of the month. Fortunately, I got to see the bigger picture very shortly after that. I was invited to a convention, as we called it those days, a summit we talk about these days, which meant traveling at least about 700 kilometers, staying in a hotel for 2 nights. And I immediately said, I can't do it because I haven't got the money. But fortunately, and I believe God moved me to just go and borrow the money from the bank. I was already owing the bank money. And I went to this event, and there I saw something so big. I don't want to go into the details now for the sake of time, but the impressions I left with there, I believe, is why we are sitting here together this evening. Had I not seen how big and how life transforming this business is, had I not seen the ethics, the heart of the business, the caring, the joy in that big crowd of mixed races, which in 1983 in South Africa was otherwise, I don't know where otherwise you would have found that. That really left such an impression on me. That I knew this wasn't just something small, although we had to grow into the business. It took us a long time because our situation was very limiting. But to cut the story short, eventually I got to a stage where I realized that I needed to make a change, which for me was a very drastic change. It meant leaving the ministry, not the church, just the ministry. And I got a different job, also a government job in a bigger city, East London, not in the UK, in South Africa, where I could then have a more of a 8 to 5 job and have the time in the evenings and weekends to start building the business. Now, when we moved to East London, I only knew 2 people there. The one was going to be my boss. So obviously I wasn't going to approach him with a business. The other one was already a distributor in the business, but not very active. So actually we moved to a city where for all practical purposes, I knew nobody. I had to find names. I had to get the references. And you know, all of you in the business in Uganda, even those of you in my team in Kenya and many other countries, came from that time in East London where we started not knowing anybody. But I had the dream, I had the drive, I went and I found people to talk to. So very often you'll talk to people and they say, oh, I don't know people, which is a very lame excuse because everybody knows people. Just a little tip. The one thing we should never do is to fight people about that. Say, hey man, you're stupid. You don't know people. We at one stage had a story and say, well, if you don't know at least 6 people who are going to carry your coffin to your grave, that sort of thing, you never want to attack people. Rather say to them something like, oh, I know that from experience. In my case, I could genuinely say I moved to a place where I really knew nobody. But, say to people, that's such a common thought. But, the good thing about this is it's not necessarily the people you know now, but the people that you still could get to know. And that's absolutely been the case in my business, which today is all over the world. I have one person, well, actually 2, in my business, my aunt and her daughter, and neither of them are very active, whom I knew before the business. Everybody else in my business today are people I never knew at the time we started in the business. And I mention that to encourage all of you. It's not about who you know or who you've known all along. Many of them will not come with you for whatever reason. That's no problem. It's actually good news because often the people closest to you are not the ones who are going to necessarily support you. But hey, out there is the whole wide world, not just in Kampala or wherever you happen to be, not just in Uganda. Through the structure of our business, you could be reaching people in countries that you'd have to go and look up on the map to maybe find, that you maybe never even have known. So, having said that, Justice asked me to talk tonight a bit about leadership. Now, there are essentially just 2 kinds of people in the world. There's the leaders, and then the big mass, the followers. I would say 80% of people are followers, maybe it's even more. And I don't think you need to think very hard to realize that the followers are not the people who make the money and who have the lifestyle and do the things that, well, average people just don't do. The leaders are the people who make more money, who have the lifestyle. Even in your life, you've got to grow at least to a world team member, be at that level of leadership, and then you can travel to, like now in May, to Cape Town, or like we had last year in Mauritius, and the year before that, Istanbul. You've got to have some level of leadership to start enjoying the benefits of our business. But generally, that's the case. The poor people are the followers, the average people. Now, many people think it's good to be average. If you're below average, that's bad. They think if you're average, that's okay. But I once heard a definition of average that is not very flattering. It says if you're average, you're the best of the worst. Average is you're at the top of the wall, everybody below you. But at the same time, you're the worst of the best. Average is somewhere between the best and the not so good. Average is the best of the worst, but the worst of the best. Now, if you look at it that way, that's really not a good place to be. Now, the good news is nobody needs to be average. Anybody can rise above their circumstances. Now, that's maybe easier said than done, but in principle, it is possible. God made us with potential to not just be average or below average or whatever we are, but to be more and to be better than we are. But to rise above your situation, you need an opportunity. Now, there are many different opportunities. There are many opportunities that more or less look like what Neolife is. Network marketing, same sort of approach. But not all opportunities are equal. Some opportunities are average, many are below average. I'm talking now about network marketing companies. There are actually very few that are above average. But certainly, Neolife is right at the top. Not necessarily in size, but in terms of just the way the company is and what they do. I firmly believe that Neolife is the best opportunity to help average people or even people below average to become above average. To go from struggling to success and from success to significance. Meaning where you live a life that is meaningful, that is significant, that makes the world and the people around you a better place. Neolife, I believe, is the best opportunity that any one of us could hope to have. Why? You don't need to spend a lot of money to get involved. You don't have a lot of overheads, which means you've got to continue to spend a lot of money just to stay in business. Because Neolife does all of that for us. And they're extremely good at what they do. And that's why all the support we have, like tomorrow's meeting and the senior manager school that the company is presenting, those are such worthwhile, classy events. You should try to never miss anything. I urge Justice say, if you're in Kampala, come. If you're outside in Kampala, you'd benefit even more if you came. It's easy for the people in Kampala to come, but the more you sacrifice to come, the more you'll benefit. But, you know, we all have a choice as to what we do with the Neolife opportunity, how we approach it. Some people just play with it. Some people actually mess with it. But if you want to benefit optimally, if you want to grow into a leader, into a person, a person of significance, you've got to make the decision to go full out with Neolife, to become outstanding. In Neolife, we have people who are just average and below average. But to benefit best out of Neolife, you've got to become above average, outstanding, become a professional in our kind of business. And again, that is completely possible and within your reach. But it depends on you. It depends on how serious you are, the commitment you make, and the resilience, that holding on, that keeping on, because it's not always going to be easy. You are going to have challenges. Things might sometimes be very difficult for you. But to get to the top, you've got to overcome. Getting to the top is not easy. It means overcoming. whatever needs to be overcome. But now let's just talk about being a leader. I've already hinted at the fact that it means becoming better. You see, we can't lead people beyond where we are. A leader is not somebody who shouts from the back. A leader is somebody who's up front, who leads by example, who shows the way. It begins by knowing the way. A leader knows the way. They understand the business. They understand the principles that make people successful in the business. And with that knowledge, they can guide other people and say, come with me, I'll show you the way. There's a big difference between being a leader and being a boss. Many of you probably have experience of bosses. Bosses are not necessarily, and I'm not saying each and every boss, but bosses are not necessarily good people. They're in a position of power, and they use that to drive people to do the work. And those people do the work just because they get paid, and they know if they don't do the work, they're not going to get paid, and they're going to get told to go. And that's why you often have this employer-employee sort of not a good situation, where the employer tries to use the employees, often exploits them, try to get as much out of them with paying them as little as possible, with the fewest benefits possible. I was watching some cricket on Thursday, whenever it was, India playing against South Africa, at least New Zealand playing in South Africa, but also some of that cricket is being played in Dubai. And Dubai is such a wonderful place. I can't describe to you what a wonderful place it is. But it's got a very dark underside, because basically the labor they use there is just slave labor, which is, it takes the shine off a place like Dubai. Now, that's not really leadership. That's bossing people. That's exploiting people. Leadership is not pushing people and using people. Leadership is drawing people and pulling people towards something better. People don't want to be exploited their whole lives. They want to be uplifted and lifted out of a situation that maybe not good for them. So a leader is somebody who's seen the potential in the opportunity, and who knows there's potential in people, and then draws people and works with them to help them develop their potential. And for that, you need to develop certain qualities. Get out of the boss mentality into a leader mentality, which is a growth mentality. Meaning, we have to grow personally as people, as leaders. And that's the good news again. You can grow into being a leader. You can grow into being a good leader. You can grow into being a brilliant leader. But then you've got to have that growth mentality, knowing that I need to improve. I need to become better. And then using that growth to help other people grow. And therefore, and I will always emphasize this. One of the key things to understand in network marketing, which is the type of business we are in with Neolife, is that we only win to the extent that we help other people win. This win-lose thing where you build a beautiful city by exploiting other people, by even having people suffer and die. That's no good. In network marketing, that can't give you lasting results. It can't. Because if we if we lose people as fast as we bring in people, we will never be successful. And why would people stay? Because they feel valued, because they know they're cared for, because we think they are important. Even if outwardly and in society people may not be very important. What I'm saying with that is, don't judge people just by appearances. Don't judge people just from how you see them. Because that person that you may look down upon still have God-given potential that maybe just needs to be explored and mentored and guided so that that person can grow into somebody completely different from who they were when we found them. That is the role of leadership. But that for that to happen, we've got to grow into the understanding that we need to value people. We should get away from criticizing and condemning and complaining and negativity. Give people the benefit of the doubt. If they then prove themselves unworthy of your time and your attention, or unworthy of Neolife, then we leave them behind. But always give people the benefit of the doubt. Make people feel welcome. Make people feel special. And having said that, I need to emphasize that if we strive for leadership, which I believe we should, firstly because of what it will do for us and for the people that depend on us, our families, but also for what it could do for other people. If we strive for that, the benefits are huge. In fact, in Neolife, you will probably never get to a stage where you've reached full potential. However you grow, however much you do, in terms of income, but also in terms of fulfillment. I'll come back to that in a moment. But the point I want to make now is that you will understand becoming a leadership or a leader is a responsibility. It's actually, I believe God expects us to become leaders. God hasn't made us just to be average and just battle and suffer along. God wants the best for us. He's given us talents and potential that we just need to use and discover and grow. So it is a responsibility to grow from maybe being a follower or maybe being an average leader into a leader or a real good leader. I somewhere read the saying that says, God's gift to us is all the potential to become what we could be. Our gift to God is to become what we could be. So there's a responsibility on us. I always think that when New Life came into our lives, it wasn't just for us, it was for what could happen for many people through us. And therefore, I accepted that one day God will judge me, as each of us, and say, I gave you this wonderful opportunity. What did you do with it? I meant for you to become a leader and touch thousands of people's lives. What did you do with it? What did you not do? And you know, it's also a huge responsibility, because I've unfortunately seen people grow in the business, in the marketing plan. They grew in leadership positions, but they never grew ethically and their character. And then things started, well, things went wrong. Things kept going wrong. They had the position, but they weren't true leaders. They were exploiting people, they were cheating people. And you know, the damage that has done in the business, in my own business also, is tremendous. Because many people who believed in the opportunity and who believed in the leaders got to be very disappointed. And many of them just dropped out of the business. And you know, they're the people who go around and tell people, oh, stay away from this New Life. They're just going to be bad for you. So it is our responsibility to make the best of what God has given us. But it is also our responsibility, because the moment we sponsor somebody into the business, we in a sense take their lives and their futures in our hands. Not completely. I mean, they're still responsible, but we have such a role to play in helping them grow and reaching their potential. And when we mess up, just we that mess up, it's not just that we mess up the business, we actually mess up people's lives. We cost people their future when we messed up. People who could have gone on to become diamonds in the business, build big businesses, we blow them out of the business when we mess up. So while leadership is something to strive for, because of the benefits it will bring us when we grow as leaders, that should be built on taking the responsibility for building people. That win-win situation. And I want to say two more things. I'll finish. It is not just the money and the lifestyle that growing as leaders in New Life will bring you. Those are good. There's nothing wrong with that. We can enjoy the fruits of our labor. But you know, there's something more significant. And that's the fulfillment we have. Sorry, when we succeed as leaders, and when we can look at many people Sorry. I let my throat go too dry. I should have had some water a bit earlier. So now I have to finish. It's the fulfillment you get from having achieved, from growing as a leader. And that's why you find people who get old don't retire from your life because of that sense of fulfillment. Last thing I want to say is a very useful tool to help you grow in leadership is to study John Maxwell's books, listen to his YouTube videos, but really study leadership. And I can not recommend any tool more highly than John Maxwell. So I'm sorry I had to end on this note. I got so carried away. I forgot to take a drink of water. This is, in fact, something that's been with me my whole life. Don't worry about that. I'm fine. I just didn't manage the situation good enough. But anyway, just as having said all of that, I want to challenge each of you to accept new life as the opportunity for you to reach up, go higher and higher and higher, develop from where you are into being a leader, into being a very good leader, because of all it will bring to you and your family, but also to the fulfillment it will bring to you, knowing that you were instrumental in leading many, many people to a better life. And that is the value, the deepest value of new life, that we get the opportunity to impact people's lives in a positive way. And for that, we will live, and I dare say it will make God happy if that's the way we live our lives. So thank you, and good night, and God bless.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mike, for taking off time to share with us. And sorry about that hiccup. We truly appreciate you putting off time to share with us wisdom about the business, all the experience that you've been able to gather out of building this business for over 40 years. We truly thank God that we are able to tap into your wisdom, to learn from you about leadership, to learn from you about how to build great and stable businesses. We truly appreciate and thank you so much. And to those of us, tomorrow we are at the Imperial Real Hotel. It's going to be a very, very powerful session. We have guest speakers coming in from South Africa. We have guest speakers coming in from Kenya. So it's really a great opportunity for us to learn. It's a great opportunity for us to invite. So let's take advantage so that we can see how we can explode and grow our businesses to greater heights. So thank you so much all for attending. And thank you so much again, our mentor, Mr. Mike Van Deventer, author from South Africa, for putting off time to be with us. Thank you so much, and have a blessed evening.